This way, tarnished. May I have a word? I am Rani, the witch. But if anyone asks, call me Rena. It pleaseth me to see Torrent, hale and hearty. Yes, Torrent and I have encountered one another many times before. 'Twas the former master of Torrent who left this for thee, a spirit calling bell. Thou may use it to summon forth spirits from their ashen remains. And here, these are the ashen remains of 3 wolves, not yet returned to the Erd Tree. These spirits were once driven from their wolf pack and taken in by a nameless tarnished, such as thee. They will aid you but briefly as they recall their former battles. Indeed, all thou must do is ring the bell, and their spirits shall materialize. You speak of another wolf. Oh, you must mean the half-wolf, Blythe. He is ever my faithful ally. Ah, so you are the tarnished Blythe speaks so highly of. 'Twas thee who fought alongside him against my brother Radan. Tell me, did Radan still ride upon his favourite scrawny steed? He did. 'Tis a pity what became of him. You wish to hear the story of my family. 'Tis not my way to divulge my past, but I suppose if Blythe trusts thee, then I shall too. I was born the daughter of Queen Renala, the last queen of Caria, and Lord Radagon. My parents met on the battlefield, and soon after they were wed. Their union brought me into the world, along with my 2 brothers, Radan and Rykard. Our family did not last, however. Lord Radagon broke my mother's heart when he left for the Erd Tree capital to become Queen America's consort. 'Tis an act I shall never forgive. What's that? I don't look much like my parents. Truth be told, this body is not mine own. This doll's body was created to resemble my mentor from childhood. 'Twas a cold night when I was out wandering in the woods I'd spotted a crystal bud amongst the brush and knelt down to pick it, when suddenly I felt a chill deep in my bones. I abandoned the crystal bud and looked round me, quite afraid. But from the shadows of the trees emerged a crone, speaking to me softly, as one might to a frightened animal. She was dressed in snow-white robes and a pointed hat, and introduced herself to me as a snow witch, a master of cold sorcery. From that day, she was my mentor. I met with her in secret to learn her magic. Well, she also taught me to fear the dark moon. 'Tis because of the Snow Witch that my fascination with the dark moon grew. It became a symbol of occult mystery, which I felt a growing affinity. My mother must have sensed it, for she had left me a dark moon sorcery, and when I conjured its cold, leaden form into being, I decided it must be my sigil, the source of my power. 'Tis bittersweet to think back on my childhood. Why? Well, the time I spent with the Snow Witch was short-lived, as soon after I was chosen to be an Empyrean. It was a title only I and my half-sisters, Michaela and Melania, could claim. Each of us was put forward by our own two fingers as potential successors to Queen America. Blythe was given to me by the two fingers to be my vassal. He was a failure on their part, for even when I forsook the greater will, Blythe stood by my side. You want to know how I forsook the greater will? 'Twas my flesh that the two fingers needed to do their bidding. And so I stole the rune of death and carved the curse mark of death into my own flesh. My body perished. It now lies at the top of the divine tower of Liurnia, bearing the half-wheel wound of the centipede. It should have been a full circle, had not the Prince of Death died as well, splitting the wheel into two. But 'twas his soul that died, whereas my demigod flesh was the first of its kind to perish, while my soul lived on. Yes, it did hurt, dreadfully. I remember the scorching pain was unbearable, as my skin was branded with that mark of death. But my soul is not burdened with such trifling pain any longer. Indeed, my soul was unharmed, and now you see why it resides in this doll's body. This form hath loosened my tongue. I've let slip too much. Forget what thou'st heard. Forget